Hi friends, welcome to my channel and the latest video in my Decan walk. So today I am looking at the Five of Wands, which runs from July 22nd to around August 1st. So it takes us up to Lunar or La Masse, however you want to say that, if you follow that wheel of the year. And this is a fixed fire sign, the first decan of Leo. The crystals that are assigned to it from the Crystal Magic Tarot, which is the tarot deck I use to find those associations with the crystals, which is this one here, the Crystal Magic Tarot. Kerry Ward and Claire Gregory are Carnelian for strength. That's the Carnelian for strength. We have turquoise for the World card, or the Universe card as it's called in the Thoth. Just a little piece there. Will focus. Oh yeah. And then for the card itself we have selenite. And I have a piece here. Selenite is very fragile. Don't put it anywhere near water or it will dissolve. No, it looks very dirty, doesn't it? But that's just the way it came. Because after all, it came from the ground. There we go. Beautiful piece of selenite there. And it's really nice to place on tarot decks, it's selenite. So let's have a little look at the associations here with the major arcana. And this is obviously to do with the astrology, because decans are all about the astrology. And so we've got Saturn in Leo. Now, Leo, as you can see, is a very fiery energy. It is a fire sign. So we can see a lot of red energy there. And that looks so much like the Stength card, doesn't it? This is Barbieri Zodiac Oracle. And I absolutely adore his work. His artwork is fantastic. Anyway, fives in the tarot on the Tree of Life are associated with Gebra, and that is Mars energy. So Mars is a warlike, fiery energy. We see it in the Emperor as well, and Aries. But as I said, on the Tree of Life, this is Gebra, Mars. So we can see possibly why there is conflict going on here, because we've got a lot of fiery energy with Leo and with Mars, but then the corresponding card for the World card is Saturn, and Saturn is more contained. Saturn is more about putting limits in place. So at the time of the Golden Dawn, Saturn was the last known planet that they could see through the equipment that they had at the time. They couldn't see past that planet to know if there was any other planets, and so Saturn became the emblem for the World card, because it was, or the Universe card here in the Thoth, because it was the last known planet in our universe at the time. And so that's why it's got limits, you know. This is why we're encased here, because we couldn't see further than that, and this was the extent of our world. But of course, with the fire Leo energy, we want to expand out of that world. We want to know more. We won't accept what we're told. Saturn is all about discipline, all about limits, structure. It's a very slow moving energy, and it's grounding, and it holds down or grounds the energy of Mars, of Gebra. So it's keeping this fiery energy in place. So it's a bit like earth and fire, you know, damping down the flames. And our Strength card, our Leo, is not very happy about that, you know. Leo is a very outward sign, isn't it? It likes to follow its passions. It's expansive, it's dynamic. whereas Saturn is restrictive. And so we've got this conflict going on here that we can then see within our card here. So that lends some of the explanation of these cards here. If we talk still about strength, or in the Thoth case, lust, this is actually the whore of Babylon holding the Holy Grail with the many-headed beast. It's expansion in its fullest form. There's no shame here. This is just living true to your own desires, rather than in Arthur Edward Waite's depiction, where we're actually in control of those desires. We've tamed them within ourselves. But Leo's having none of that. Leo's breaking out. In the Thoth card, it's really, really interesting things that I learned here. So if you look at the 5 wands here and the flames behind them, you can tell that the flames are actually being contained, they're being held down. So Saturn is holding down fire and Mars, holding them down so they can't get out of control. Basically controlling them. And if you look at these ones here, the Phoenix wand and the Lotus wand, so we say the Phoenix wand is a masculine energy and the Lotus wand a feminine energy, then there's a face-off there. That Phoenix is facing off that Lotus. And it's quite interesting, actually, if you look at the following card, which is Victory, that it reverses its position there, which I think is fascinating. And it actually does as well in the 7. So it's only in this card where it's actually facing off the Lotus wand. And these staffs here are actually the Adept's wands. So this massive one in the front, it belongs to the Chief Adept. So that's the Chief Adept's wand. So we're talking about structure, hierarchy here. And the yellow in the background, well, that's the sun, isn't it? That's the Leo energy, the sun, fire energy. So this large one has authority over the other ones, and it is quite large compared to the other staffs. So again, yes, the hierarchy of power here. And if there's 10 flames, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, there's 10 flames there. So that would be Malkut, the number 10, which is the world. That's the lowest sephira on the tree of life. So it's now the material world. So we're striving in the material world. I think it's interesting to note that the Romans, and this looks very Romanesque, doesn't it? But the Romans attributed the wolf to the planet Mars. And in the Tarot of Oneness, which is this deck here, the 5 of Wands is depicted actually by a wolf. So we're being faced off by a wolf here in the snow. And we've got 2 wolves there at each other's, they're not very friendly with each other, are they? One looking on. But yeah, this looks quite confrontational, to put it mildly. And if we look at Poppy Palin's deck, Tarot of Everyday Enchantment, we actually can see how that can escalate. So the wolves are now dogs fighting over a stick. But if we look at the rest of the card and all the conflict that's going on there, we've got 2 lads here play fighting. But this old man here isn't very happy about it, and that could really escalate out of control, couldn't it? So they're fighting the elements and all, and the birds are fighting on the wing. Of course, domestic dogs originated from wild wolves. So yeah, there's a danger there that things could get out of control, because it's often thought that this is a bit of a play fight. It's a testing ground, really, to see who is top dog. And I think that's really illustrated well in another deck, which is the Druidcraft, the Druidcraft Tarot. And I'll show you why. In this depiction, again, we've still got the youngsters fighting here. But look what's down there. So to me, that is, we are trying to ascertain the pecking order. Yeah, the top dog. Who is going to come out on top in this pecking order here? So I like the way all that aligned, you know, the dog, the wolf and the pecking order, you know, because wolves and dogs are pack animals and they like to know where their place is within the structure, within the hierarchy, within that pecking order. And in the light seers, I think we can actually see where this has escalated to, this exchange of different viewpoints and ideas. This struggle to find out the pecking order has resulted in being trodden on, being overridden, and it sort of reminds me of business, really, you know. And then they set up, or any sort of ambition, because they say watch who you tread on the way up, because you will find them waiting for you on the way down. So yeah, we are trying to just reach our potential here, absolutely trying to reach the potential of us, but at what price? At what price are we doing this? How are we harming our relationships to achieve that goal? In the Tarot of Mystical Moments, we actually see this as a strategy. It's a strategy to get whatever it is we are aiming for, what we are reaching for. But we have got, again, all these different viewpoints challenging for supremacy. Who's going to be the winner there? Who's going to come out on top? Who is going to be top dog? And who decides? If this is maybe going for a job position, is this the interview process? And we see the Saturn influence here in the world card. We can see how our world is confined here. It's confining us, and we want to break free from that world. And it sort of looks like we're going to use a wrecking ball to do that. We're going to destroy this world to create a new one. And that is really pertinent when you think of activists and that sort of energy, because in order to progress, we do need activists, we do need people to challenge this structure that we're living under, because otherwise we can't progress, we can't change, we can't move forward. And with the sad demise of Sinead O'Connor in the last few days, that's really hit home actually for me, because that was a true warrior, someone who liked to bring attention to the issues that, you know, we put up with, really. And without people like that, then injustice will carry on, you know. And even though she was attacked, if you like, for her views, I mean, when she ripped up the image of the Pope, she upset a lot of people, understandably, but she was making a very strong statement there. It served a purpose. It brought attention to the issues that she was concerned about. And if you watch, there's a documentary actually on her that was filmed before she died, and it's scheduled to go out actually before she died, so only a few days before, so that was wow. But you can see that some of the issues that she was talking about were very valid, and she was defiant, and she was young, and I think that young people tend to be more defiant than we do as we get older, you know. We choose our battles a little bit more wisely as we get older. We know the fights that we cannot possibly win and those that we can draw attention to. but it takes a brave person to do that. It takes fire energy, it takes Mars energy to actually stand up and just say what needs to be said. And not all of us can do that. Another thing I was thinking about that's pertinent to what's been happening lately is the wildfires in Europe. Now here in the UK it's done nothing but be cloudy and raining, and I mean this image here might be quite hard to well, I'm hoping it's okay, but the light has been so bad. I do apologise if it's affecting the video. But yeah, there's been wildfires all over Europe. It's been devastating. And there's been warnings for, you know, this is the result of global warming. And I was looking at my lovely Sasuraibito Tarot. This is the little version, the small one. I have got both versions, but yeah, this is a small one. And the 5 of Wands there, that shows fire. Now, if you rub sticks together, it's what I was thinking. You can produce fire, can't you? If you rub a stick on, I think if you rub a stick on stone, it'll produce fire. And then, of course, stone, earth, Saturn, it sort of goes along with what I'm thinking. And so, yeah, too much friction will cause fire. So that's again going overboard with this energy, you know, the energy becoming not only out of control, but downright dangerous. So let's look at some positive aspects to what looks like a very, very negative card. So I was looking at the Pholarchos Tarot. It's a very interesting deck, this one, Calm and Serenity. And let's see, find the card. There we go. And what we have here is a dance. It's a flamenco, I think. Or a tango. No, it's a tango. And what's happening here is they're out of step. They've misstepped. One wants to go one way and the other wants to go the other way. And so there's a conflict there. And then we have 2 snakes. And we have some frogs looking on. Well, this is more about progress, because by sticking to the safe rules of Saturn and doing the dance the way it's always been done, it's predictable. Everybody knows what's coming, and predictability can bring boredom, can't it? So by doing this, then they might actually regenerate the dance and bring more life into it. I mean, this is the 5 of Sparks. This is bringing life into outdated modes of thinking. There's a lot of red fiery energy there. And so if you look at the snakes, well, the snakes shed skin and regenerate. If you look at the frogs, well, they've regenerated from tadpoles. And as it says in the book, actually it's not in the book, I think it's on a website, but it's, you know, this frog might even regenerate into a prince if they have the kiss. I think that's a lovely way of looking at it. So sometimes this Mars forceful Leo energy is needed to break out of the restrictions of Saturn. You know, it's a number 5, and 5 is all about change, and change is never comfortable, is it? You know, we get in our little comfort zones. We don't want to actually leave our little world the way it is, because it's a tried and tested and we know what's coming. But we'd never get any adventure if we didn't, would we? We'd never go out and see the world. You know, the world outside our own consciousness, or the world that we know. We would never expand our horizons. And I think that is what is called for in this card. So we also have to adapt to those changes. Wands are all about the will, which is self-expression, self-belief. So having this self-belief, especially depicted in our lust card here, having that self-belief to actually once more, to make this, you know, to unbalance this energy, if you like, to stir things up, because only by stirring things up can we progress. You know, if we all accepted life as it's presented to us, nothing would be achieved. It would be just a static energy. And it takes inner strength, doesn't it? It takes inner strength to change. You have to be strong enough inside to overcome challenges. If we look here as well in the Rider-Waite-Smith card, we can see that that ground is uneven, and some of these are on shaky ground. They're going to trip up, aren't they? You know, their ideas may not have enough substance, if you like, to be realised as valid. I mean, all these sticks are up in the air, but not one of them's touching another one, is it? They're all holding their own ace of wands, if you like, their own new ideas. And I think that is depicted well because they are youngsters. So these ideas are untried, untested. They are new. And they come from different viewpoints. We can see that by just looking at the tunics. So if we look at the spotty tunic, I think that's a very outgoing personality, don't you? He's got new ideas, progressive. He's not going to dress in the normal way. He's going to do it his way or their way. I'm not sure about gender here. It doesn't really matter. But that individual is going to dress their way. They've got their nouveau ideas that might not go well with maybe the one in the back that looks like he's got checks or tartan on, which would seem to indicate tradition. So maybe the one at the back has traditional ideas. Maybe the one in red is more passionate about their ideas, because red is about passion and that Mars energy. In fact, there's a lot of red going on there, and I think this guy in the spotted tunic is the only one that hasn't got any red. So his energy isn't really coming from Mars. He has got a different viewpoint, most definitely. There's only one that's got a cap on, so maybe they've closed off because that crown chakra there is shielded, if you like. So then maybe they're not open to the other's ideas. Or I'm not sure, but that could be a possibility, couldn't it? But these ideas are definitely clashing with each other. And I think also no one's listening to anyone else. They're all just going with what they want to say, what they want to put forward, and they're just not listening to others' viewpoints here. They're bold, they're rash. And I think the advice is maybe you should think it through first and test your ideas before coming to the table or the boardroom or whatever it is. Okay, let's have a little look at the Crystal Magic Tarot now, and the associated crystal of selenite, because I think, well, I presume this is going to be an antidote to all that active energy, because selenite is a very gentle energy. So the card for the Five of Wands here, and different types of hands to represent the different viewpoints there. Strength, we have another lion. Actually, it's a tiger. Excuse me, that's a tiger, it's not a lion. And then for the world card, we have a globe and turquoise. So let's have a look in the book for what it says for the Five of Wands in the guidebook. When there's negative energy around a situation, you need a cleansing crystal in your arsenal. Selenite is one of the best cleansing crystals, as its fine vibration brings calm, protection and clarity of thought. If you have conflict to resolve, arm yourself with a selenite wand and you will go into battle with a clear mind, an understanding attitude and better judgment. Selenite is also a wonderful protector for your home, so keep one by the door to purify the aura of anyone who enters. So that's the advice from the guidebook there for selenite. So let's end this with a joke. If I can find the image, I'm going to put it up. But the one that tickled me, it's been around for quite some time, to go with this image here, the Five of Wands in the Rider-Waite-Smith, is all to do with five guys actually trying to put a tent up. And if anyone's tried to put a tent up, you will know the struggle, and that's the strife. So instead of trying to achieve the objective of putting the tent up, they're all fighting against each other and getting nowhere. And that tent is just not going to be raised. Anyway, that's my little take on the Five of Wands and its astrological correspondences on my Decan journey. I will put a link to the rest of the videos that I have made in this little series below, the playlist. There you go, that's what I meant. I will put the playlist link below. I'm thinking about the tent. And anyway, until the next time, thank you so much for watching, friends. Bye.